Razer just dropped their most advanced gaming headset yet, the BlackShark V3 Pro. And if you thought that the V2 Pro was elite, wait until you see what's inside of this beast. We got a better microphone and better drivers and even simultaneous wireless audio at the same time. But at $249, is it truly next generation or this is just an upgrade? Let's break it all down in this video. But first, a satisfying ASMR unboxing for your ears. Starting with the design, the V3 Pro builds on the aviation-inspired look of the V2 Pro, but it steps it up a little bit with a sleeker industrial finish and a new memory foam cushion wrapped in what Razer called the breathable flow knit fabric. It is slightly heavier than the other headset. It's 367 grams versus 320 from the old one, but don't let the weight deter you because comfort-wise, the V3 is noticeably better. I am a huge fan of the new material on the ear cups, making it feel cooler, and the headband itself distributes the weight a little bit more evenly than the previous generation. And a couple design things that I noticed right away on the V3 versus the V2. Now the headset has this really high quality stitching around the edges and around the top where the headband is noticeably different, and I think this is much better because the previous generation was just glued together or whatever stitch on the inside, but the stitching on the outside is much higher quality and it looks so much cooler in my opinion. And one other major thing for comfort, the headset actually now rotates in and out much more than it did on the V2, which allows for more comfort when you're trying to take the headset off your ear, or if you're moving your head a lot, this will give you more flexibility where the headset is not restraining you like the V2 did, and the V3 just gives you more flexibility when it comes to movement, especially around the ear cups, which is something that I noticed right away and I actually really like. Not to mention that the metal material on the V3 is much higher quality than the V2, and I instantly noticed that the V3 Pro has a much sturdier feeling and much more solid build. And while filming this video, I spent a few hours gaming, and after a few hours, I noticed zero headaches or zero pain around my ears or pressure or weird things happening to me. So that tells me that this headset is built with long gaming sessions in mind. Now when it comes to connection and platform support, the V2 Pro gave us a solid wireless and wired support, but the V3 Pro goes to the next level. Now we get simultaneously dual wireless 2.4 gigs and hyperspeed Bluetooth, meaning you can be gaming, chatting on Discord, and at the same time connected to your phone listening to music all at the same time, which the V2 Pro did not have. Now the Xbox model of the V3 Pro Wireless works with PC, Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, Steam Deck, and mobile devices with no fuss. But if you get just the PlayStation version, it'll work with PC and PlayStation 5 but not Xbox due to the licensing issues that Xbox embeds on these headsets. One other new feature that Razer actually added to the V3 Pro Wireless was something that a lot of people complained about, and was the ability to use a USB for the audio, and now the headset itself comes with a USB to 3.5mm jack, so now you can plug this thing directly to the PC using USB cable and just use it as a normal headset, which is awesome because the V2 Pro Wireless did not have that. Now let's talk about audio drivers and sound quality. The BlackShark V2 already sounded really good because it had the TriForce titanium drivers is what they call them, but the V3 Pro gets an upgrade to the TriForce Bio-Cellulose, whatever, however you say that, with a 50mm driver which has a 75 larger magnet and 50% less distortion according to Razer, meaning clearer lows, sharper mids, and overall much better tuning, and especially when it comes to EQing. Now I spent a lot of time fussing around the settings and there's a lot that you can do here, and the sound quality is incredible. The bass is just clean and everything pops like you want it, especially in gaming. I tried this playing Black Ops 6. You can hear the details in every sound coming from the game. So audio quality wise, the V3 Pro is definitely an incredible option, and it's definitely noticeably better than the V2 Pro. Not to say that the V2 Pro was bad, but this is a next level upgrade. Now the BlackShark series headset is known for the THX Spatial audio, but this time we're gaining a new upgrade on that. We're getting the new 7.1.4 surround engine on PC, which adds the vertical dimension of sound, meaning think about like people on rooftops, on snipers or grenades behind you or under you. You'll be able to distinguish if they're from above you or below you with this new update to the THX Spatial. It is definitely noticeable, especially in shooter games. I tested the headset with it turned on and turned off, and you can notice the difference, especially if you're paying attention to those audio things, and this comes very useful in games like Warzone or other games that basically where you need to know who's above you and who's below you. This is a very useful feature in my opinion. Now on Xbox and PlayStation, you still get the top tier support of Windows Sonic and the 3D Tempest, but thanks to the upgrade drivers that we talked about earlier, the V3 Pro unleashes the spatial system systems much better than the V2 did. Now let's talk about the microphone, and this one is huge. So the V2 Pro had already made a mark for being one of the best microphones on a gaming headset you can buy, but this new headset got a huge upgrade when it comes to microphone. It has a new 12mm HyperClear full band microphone. It is now detachable, unlike the V2, larger, and transmits your voice up to 48 kHz, which means deeper tone, more detail, and fewer dropouts. Here's a comparison example of what the BlackShark V3 Pro microphone sounds like versus the V2 Pro. Alright guys, this is how the microphone sounds on the Razer BlackShark V3 Pro. How does it sound? Is it good? There's no filters or there's nothing happening on the microphone. This is just how the microphone sounds raw from the headset, no editing, nothing. Now let's switch to the V2 with the same settings and see how it sounds. Alright, and now we're on the BlackShark V2 Pro, the same exact settings on here, and I'm talking in the same tone, the same level. How does it sound? Is it good, worse, or whatever it is? I don't know. Let me compare and I'll tell you in the voiceover. After listening to these samples, you can definitely notice the difference. The V3 Pro has a much deeper, richer, and has a way more full profile when it comes to picking up my sound, which for a gaming headset, that audio sounded incredible. Now let's talk about one of my favorite new features on the V3 Pro. With the V3 Pro, we get full hybrid active noise cancellation, unlike the V2 Pro. It uses 4 onboard microphones to actively cancel noise in real time, which is actually surprisingly really good, and you can change the levels from 1 to 4 depending on how much noise cancellation you would like. And now we also get a button on the headset where you can turn on the ANC, ambient mode, or just turn it off completely with just a press of a button, which is super useful. And from my experience from previous gaming headsets that have ANC, once you try ANC in gaming, you are never going back. So I'm personally very pleased that they added this to the headset. Now software wise, we're going to be using the Razer Synapse 4, which is the same software we used to control the V2 Pro, but the V3 Pro introduces next gen customization, especially when it comes to EQing with the Synapse 4 and the mobile app. Now you can actually store up to 9 EQ profiles on the headset itself without having to go to the software and change them. Just store them on board and just with a click of a button be rotating between all of them, which is incredible. And EQing is not just applying to the audio that you're hearing, you can also apply to the microphone. You can get EQ presets like a broadcaster or esports or whatever you want it to sound like. Not to mention that the Razer Synapse gives you a ton of options like mic noise cancellation or voice enhancement or even audio enhancement for the settings or normalization. So it gives you a ton of options to customize on the headset, and it's more than they gave us for the V2 Pro, especially with that 9 EQ profiles that you can store on the headset. So if you love tweaking your audio, this headset is it. Now let's talk about something that is extremely important when it comes to wireless gaming headsets, and that is battery life. The battery life on the V3 Pro got a bump too. The V2 Pro maxed out around 40 to 55 hours, which was plenty, but the V3 Pro is now pushing 70 hours when gaming on PC and 48 hours when you're gaming on consoles. Plus the headset now charges faster, which is also worthy of mentioning. So getting a 70 to 80% increase on battery life is definitely a plus. And one new thing that was added to the V3 Pro that the V2 did not have, now the ear cups are actually magnetics and you can just remove them and put something else on. And Razer is going to be releasing a lot of these just partners with esports gamers, like this one that they sent me that I put on my headset, and it's super easy to switch out. It's just a magnet system, kind of like the Artis Nova Pro. You just take the ear cup off and just put the other one on. It's a magnetic system and it's super useful, and I'm excited to see what kind of designs they make for this headset, but it's a nice touch to customize your headset. So that pretty much sums up everything that the BlackShark V3 Pro can do, and in my opinion, all these upgrades that this headset got, which brings us to the price, $249. And I know it's more expensive than the V2 Pro was at $199. $249 is a hefty price for a gaming headset, but if you have the money and you want to invest in really good audio to make your competitive gaming better, it pains me to say it, but this is a great option even at $250 because it covers everything that you might need in a gaming headset. It has incredibly good audio, it has amazing features like noise cancellation, EQing on the fly, and most importantly, a really good microphone so you never have to worry about sounding like garbage to your friends, or especially if you play video games in an esports arena. This is really important. So in my opinions, all these new upgrades and all the features that Razer added earns the price tag, especially since it's a top tier headset. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments on the new BlackShark V3 Pro. Other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video.